Watch to the end of this video if you want to see how I got $14,000 in my Roth IRA, $3,500 on my tax brokerage account, and $3,500 in my emergency fund saving account, totaling in $17,500 in investments and $3,500 for emergency expenses. Fuck! Damn, that was it too! As well as $3,500 for emergency expenses, all within doing it in 1 week. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Jonathan Molina, and I'm a recent graduate from the University of South Carolina, and I'm also recently commissioned second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. I got my commissioning from doing an Air Force ROTC, which is one of 3 ways that you can become a military officer. If you are not sure what a military officer is, I actually wrote down a definition here for you. In the military, an officer is a leader and manager who holds a commission, granting them authority over other service members. Officers are responsible for planning, leading, and coordinating military operations, often overseeing the work of enlisted personnel. The way I like to think about it is that military officers are more so the white-collar side of the military, leading, and the ones that are overseeing operations, handling paperwork, trying to get the bigger picture done. But then there's also the enlisted side of the military. This you might be more so familiar with. Military enlisted members are people that go into basic training and come back as a member in the military, typically a few months after BMT. Enlisted, I can think of it more so as blue-collar workers. They're kind of the subject matter experts of the job they're doing. They're the ones that are getting their hands dirty and the ones that are doing the job right then and there, often executing the orders of officers or high-ranking enlisted. So if you haven't watched my first video, first off, pause the video right there. Go watch my first video, please. My first video on YouTube. I'll greatly appreciate the support. If you haven't watched the video, it's okay. I'm a man of second chances, so I'm gonna link the video right here. Hopefully. If I did my job right, I would have had the video linked right here to go to see how Air Force ROTC got me $25,000 in the first place. Offered by USAA, the Career Starter Loan is up to a 60-month loan program in which USAA gives us $25,000 upfront with a 2.99 interest. That's a very low interest rate, and it's a great deal. Military Academy students are offered this as well with a lower interest rate, but you have to go check for it on their behalf. As an ROTC candidate, I can vouch for the 2.99%. Another great thing that's offered from this program is that the first payment is delayed until 6 months after your commissioning date. So for example, for me, I commissioned in May of 2025, and I don't have to pay for this or start paying for this loan until November of 2025. It is offered within 12 months of your commissioning date and within 4 months of your commissioning date if you're an OCS or an OTS candidate. Another thing that I discussed in my previous video is why the loan is even offered in the first place. Like, if I was another college student and I got $25,000, there would be a lot of things that would go through my head as to what I would do with the $25,000. I know you even probably would think of things like, wow, if I had $25,000, God knows what I would do. But it's not intended for anything like taking a trip to like Japan or taking a trip to Greece or anything like that and just blowing it. There are a few things that the loan is intended for. And in the first place, USAA knows that military officers are paid well enough based on their pay grade and are more than likely responsible enough to make the payments back on time, which is why they give this amount of money in the first place. One of the things that it's not intended for is buying a Corvette or buying a Lamborghini or putting a down payment as doing whatever. That's not what the loan is intended for. Some things that the loan is intended for is for buying a car, maybe preferably a pre-owned one that has not the greatest amount of mileage on it, but it's still fairly cheap and is reliable, maybe like a Toyota Camry or something like that. Another thing that this loan is intended to use for is for buying uniforms. Like I said in the last video as well, uniforms can get really expensive really fast. One of the Air Force specific dresses, or the mesh dress, is costing over $800, I believe is what I said in my last video. Obviously, that's going down to the shoes and the socks and making sure you're, nitty gritty, everything. But regardless, $800 is $800. And that's not even counting for the daily uniforms that we have to wear, like our OCPs or our normal service dress, but that's a whole nother topic. Another thing that you can do with this loan is pay off some high interest debt. The good thing about this loan is that its 2.99% rate is a very low interest rate. Say you have some credit card debt or you have some other loan debt of anything or of any kind that has a high interest rate. That high interest rate has a high compound interest, so from that, it will eat away at your potential for long-term financial freedom gains. With this, instead, you can use the loan to pay off that kind of money, pay off that kind of interest, and that way you only have the low interest rate, so that way you have a higher and more probable chance for achieving financial freedom. And now where I left on my last video was that I was going to tell you guys how I used my $25,000 from Air Force ROTC. But multiple times throughout the video, the storage in my phone kept running out. Good thing is though, did some homework and I got storage in my phone. Barely. I barely got storage in my phone. I ain't barely scraping by. But that doesn't even matter because I'm gonna find out a way to get this video pushed out to y'all. By the title of this video, the way I was able to get to $14,000 into my Roth IRA within 1 week is by hitting subscribe and hitting that like button. Yes, that's how I did it. All right, no, that's really not how I did it, obviously. I am just starting off this YouTube journey. Hopefully I stick around with this for at least a year and see some upside on it. But just with the starting off, it is fun trying out this thing that is new to me. And if you guys do hit that like and subscribe button, it will kind of show me that I'm doing something right. And if not, I'll be able to change up the flow of how I do things to hopefully get more people to like and subscribe to my channel. But yes, so I decided to use my career startup loan to fund my $14,000 into my Roth IRA. A Roth IRA, or more specifically, an IRA, is an individual retirement account. There's two types of it. There's a traditional and there's a Roth version, which I will explain in a second. With an IRA, you can open it up with any major banking system. Wealthfront, Fidelity, Schwab, but my personal banking system that I went with is Vanguard. So as I just mentioned, there's a traditional and there's a Roth IRA. A traditional IRA, you can think of it as putting in the money now tax-free, and then once you withdraw it from the penalty-free age of 59 and a half, it is then taxed. Versus the Roth version, you put in the money now taxed, and then when you withdraw it after the penalty-free age of 59 and a half, the money is tax-free, aka all of your gains are tax-free. If you are like me and you plan to make less money now and more money in the future, go with the Roth IRA. Or if you want to make more money now and less money in the future when you withdraw it after the penalty-free age of 59 and a half, go with a traditional. You can think of traditional IRA people typically as like if you want to, I don't know, ride around America in a van after your retirement, so you're not paying bills on like a super, I don't know, we don't judge. Traditional, put the money in now tax-free, take it out after 59 and a half taxed. Roth IRA, get taxed now for the money you put in, tax-free after age of 59 and a half. So as of July 2025, the maximum contribution for a traditional or a Roth IRA is $7,000 for those 49 years or less. For those 50 years or older, the maximum contribution you can make is $8,000 per year. So for example, for me, I'm only 22 years old, so I can only contribute up to $7,000 in 1 year. So that leaves the question, if I can only contribute up to $7,000 in 1 year, how do I have $14,000 invested, let alone in under 1 week? So IRAs actually have a neat feature that's called the Carryback contribution or the prior year contribution. This is where you can fund for the previous year between January 1st and the tax filing deadline, which is usually April 15th. For example, I got my career starter loan a little bit before my birthday in April. Go April Aries, by the way. I was able to fund not only $7,000 to my 2025 year for my IRA, because it was before April 15th, I was also able to contribute $7,000 for the previous year, aka 2024. $7,000 in 2024 plus $7,000 in 2025 contribution. It totaled up to a $14,000 initial investment or lump sum of money into my Roth IRA. As for how I was able to get that $14,000 to invest in the first place under a week, it was from the career starter loan. The career starter loan application process was super quick for me. I remember I started on the 1st of April and I got my money back by April, I want to say 6th or 7th. No, it was 7th. I got my money back by April 7th. And because of that, I opened up my Roth IRA that same day and I contributed my money that same day. So after I opened up my Roth IRA, I still have a good amount of money left over. So I decided to open a high yield saving account that's specifically dedicated to my emergency funds with Capital One, which was the banking system I had beforehand. And I decided to put $3,500 in there as kind of the buffer that I wanted to work up towards maybe $10,000 sometime in the future. But then after that, I still had even more so money left over. So I decided to open a tax brokerage account. Tax brokerage accounts are just investment accounts that are not tax advantaged like the Roth IRA or like 401ks. So any money you make or profit in your tax brokerage account, depending how many gains you have, depending how much money you have in there, it's going to get taxed. So I decided to put $3,500 in there personally to kind of set myself up for some greater investments or for some greater payments. Sometimes at least 5 years, I plan to keep it and contribute to my tax brokerage account for. So maybe I can buy a pre-owned used car if I need a new one in the future. Maybe if I want to put a down payment on a house or closing costs on a house, really, because I plan to use the VA home loan, which is another benefit in the military that if you guys want me to discuss, I'll be more than happy to. But maybe some closing costs on a house, or maybe there's an emergency expense, or maybe I want to start saving up for a wedding. I don't know. But this is just one of the many great benefits that come with doing Air Force ROTC. There's a lot of things that I can talk about in my journey to get to a second lieutenant that can help me out for real world advice. I will highly recommend to anybody that wants to get the Career Starter Loan to take it to jumpstart their financial journey. And for me, I'm grateful that I took it because it kind of made me realize that I really do need to get my finances together. I learned about the stock market, I learned about investments, I'm learning more about real estate now. I'm learning more about things that will grant me that financial freedom that I've always wanted to do. If you have any questions about how Air Force ROTC works, or you have any comments about what you would like to see next regarding Air Force ROTC or something different, please drop a like, drop a subscribe, and let me know down in the comments if you're liking the content. It means a lot to me that you guys are even watching this video in the first place, and if you could just put that little cherry on top by hitting that like or subscribe button, or leaving a comment down below what you think, I would greatly appreciate it. And that's all for today. Thank you guys if you made it this far for watching this video, and you guys have a blessed one.